All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a huge and honestly kind of contradictory piece of sports science. We are talking about caffeine, glucose metabolism, and exercise recovery. If you've ever found yourself wondering what exactly that cup of coffee is doing deep inside your muscle cells, well, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to look closely at how our bodies process caffeine and how the biological rules completely flip depending on whether you're just chilling on the couch or recovering from absolute physical exhaustion. So, think about this for a second. Is your post-workout coffee a secret weapon, or is it literally a metabolic mistake? For years, the science has been, well, completely all over the place on this issue. Why does caffeine seem to have two totally different biological identities? In one context, it looks like it's completely hindering your body's ability to process energy. But in another, it looks like an unparalleled supercharger for muscle recovery. Let's figure out why. Section 1. The caffeine paradox. Moving right into Section 2. The couch versus caffeine. Picture this. You're just lounging around, maybe working at your desk, maybe watching TV. Your body's demand for immediate fuel is remarkably low, right? Throwing a powerful stimulant into that low-demand environment creates some seriously chaotic reactions. If you look at the baseline data from this 2017 systematic review by Da Silva, it's practically unpredictable. Some resting studies show that after having caffeine, blood glucose levels actually spike by up to 50% during an oral glucose tolerance test. But look a bit further down the data, and other studies show a decrease. It completely scrambles your blood glucose maintenance, leaving you with a very unpredictable baseline if you're just sitting around. Here's the absolute kicker. When you're at rest, caffeine actually exerts a negative effect on your skeletal muscles' glucose disposal. It actively decreases your overall insulin sensitivity. So what does that actually mean for you? It means your body has to work overtime, pumping out way more insulin just to clear sugar out of your bloodstream. If you're completely sedentary, caffeine acts like a roadblock. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a bouncer at a club, making it way harder for insulin to efficiently pack glucose away into your cells. So, we've got a real Jekyll and Hyde situation here. On one side, we have the couch, decreased insulin sensitivity and impaired glucose processing. But on the other side, we get the post-workout plot twist. When you introduce total physical exhaustion into the mix, the internal biological environment completely transforms. To really grasp this side of the equation, we gotta leave the resting data behind and look at what happens in highly trained athletes.
Section 3. The post-workout plot twist.
Back in 2008, David Peterson and his team decided to test what happens when you combine a ton of heavy carb feeding with caffeine right after exercise. The methodology here is incredibly rigorous, which is what makes the results so fascinating. They took highly trained endurance cyclists and had them ride ergometers until they literally hit a wall, voluntary fatigue at 70% of their VO2 peak. We're talking functionally empty muscle glycogen tanks. Then they started a 4-hour recovery window. In one trial, they got just carbohydrates, 4 grams per kilogram of body weight. In the other trial, they got the exact same carbs, but co-ingested with a massive dose of caffeine, 8 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. Just to put that into perspective, for your average athlete, that is literally like chugging 4 to 5 strong cups of coffee the second you step off the bike. And the result? Boom, 66%. Adding that massive hit of caffeine to the carbohydrates resulted in a staggering 66% overall increase in the rate of muscle glycogen resynthesis over that 4-hour window, compared to just eating carbs alone. I mean, let that sink in. The exact same compound that blocked glucose uptake when you were sitting on the couch just accelerated it by 66% after a grueling workout. You can see the absolute gap at the 4-hour mark right here. The athletes who just had carbs replenished their glycogen to 234 millimoles per kilogram of dry muscle weight, but the caffeine group, they skyrocketed up to 313. This proves without a doubt that the metabolic rules of caffeine completely and utterly change once physical exhaustion enters the chat. But how, right? How exactly does caffeine pull off this metabolic magic trick? Section 4. The cellular magic. To figure out exactly what caffeine is doing, we have to zoom way, way down to the cellular machinery. Caffeine actually stimulates the sarcoplasmic reticulum inside the cell to release calcium ions. Think of this calcium release like flipping a master metabolic switch. It kicks off these secondary signaling pathways, specifically CMK and AMPK, which basically act as internal fire alarms telling the cell, hey, we need energy, open the gates right now. Let's walk through this post-workout protein cascade. First, the calcium ions drop. Second, those KMK and AMK pathways fire up. And third, this is the absolute game changer. This activation forces these things called GLUT4 transporters to physically migrate to the surface of the cell membrane. GLUT4 transporters are literally the doorways that let blood glucose pass into the muscle cell. And the Peterson study found something amazing. The activation of a specific signaling protein was significantly higher and, crucially, sustained at the 4-hour mark in the caffeine group. Basically, caffeine wedges those molecular doorways open wider and props them open longer, letting all those delicious carbohydrates flood directly into the depleted muscles.
Section 5, the ultimate takeaway.
So, what does all this complex cellular biology actually mean for you? Let's bring this back down to earth. Think of your exhausted muscle cells exactly like dry sponges. When you're just resting, your cellular sponges are already soaking wet, they're full. Adding caffeine at rest just clogs up the whole system, creating that insulin resistance we talked about earlier. But after a brutal workout, those sponges are bone dry. They are desperate for fuel. In that very specific state, caffeine is the ultimate accelerant. It triggers those internal pathways, kicks open the GLUT4 doors, and lets your muscle cells just soak up carbohydrates at a wildly accelerated rate. But I want to leave you with one final very real-world puzzle to chew on. We just saw that an 8 milligram per kilogram dose of caffeine supercharges your recovery by 66%. But like we said, that is a gigantic amount of caffeine. So here is the question. If you finish a punishing training session in the late afternoon, how do you balance getting that ultimate glycogen rebound with, actually getting a good night's sleep? Because maximizing recovery at the cellular level might just cost you the very sleep your body needs to rebuild in the first place. It's a fascinating trade-off and definitely one every serious athlete has to navigate. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and definitely keep questioning the science.